Hey, sir, you been injected, so we don't believe.
This lady here assaulted me.
Okay.
I have it on camera. You would like to see it?
It's their private property. They want you to leave, so you have to leave.
It's her private property.
Listen.
Remember I told you I'm either going to kill a cop or not leave. One or the other. Tase me up.
Get up. Get up. Look up, though.
I didn't do anything against the law. So tell me what my crime was.
Right now, it's trespassing. You don't
Touch me. She tried to kidnap my kids.
I get it.
Can I talk?
There's a good way to do it.
There is a good way to
go
talk.
downstairs and talk. There's a good way. There's a right way. There's a wrong way.
There's a right way.
The way you're doing
I'm still sitting in my seat.
The way you're doing right now is wrong.
No, I'm still sitting in my seat.
Right now,
I'm still sitting in my seat. The right way is for me to tell you what happened. And I'm not leaving with all 5 of my kids here. I'm not leaving.
They go with you or you can go to
They're
jail.
not doing that. I'll go to jail. I'm a teacher. I'm going to jail. DJ Malice.
Dude, you're not going to do that.
I will do that.
I'm not going to jail.
She tried to kidnap my kids.
I understand what you're saying.
She tried to kidnap my kids.
What you're doing.
You're not touching me. You're not touching me.
Wow. It's a lot to unpack in that video. You just watched an incident that happened about a week or two ago at the Georgia-Florida game. This involved an officer and a fan who allegedly got a little bit too rowdy and was asked to leave and did not comply, and things kind of went south from there. Welcome to EP. This is Emil, and I'm just going to unpack the situation, and I'm going to try to approach this as logically as possible because there's a lot to unpack, as I stated before. So let's hop right into it. The video shows a incident where an officer allegedly, well, not allegedly, well, he did kind of assault a fan that he had asked to leave the stadium due to a prior incident. Now, was the officer involved justified for the amount of violence that he used against the fan? I'm not sure. On the one hand, officers are supposed to be held to a higher standard. So no matter what the person says, you're supposed to take that on the chin, do your job as professionally as possible, and go about your day. But on the other hand, if you have a rowdy person such as the gentleman here, who obviously does not want to comply, who obviously called the officer the N-word, who obviously also threatened the police officers, threatened bodily harm, threatened to kill them, it's hard to feel sorry for that guy. And the public information officer during the press conference felt the same way because they in fact justified the violence that happened in this video. I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, play a little bit of it, and you can kind of get an idea of what happened. I'm not gonna show the whole video because it's just too long. The press conference is super long. It's like an hour long or whatever, but I will put a link in the description. So if you do want to watch the whole thing, you can kind of see the whole thing as it unfolded. So let's get right into the video and let's show you what happened.
Private property. They want you to leave, so you have to leave.
It's her private property.
Listen.
Remember I told you I'm either going to kill a cop or not leave. One or the other. Tase me up.
Get up.
49, spend a couple more minutes.
Get up. Look up, though.
I didn't do anything against the law. So tell me what my crime was.
Right now, it's trespassing. You're
Touch me. She tried to kidnap my kids.
I get it.
Can I talk?
There's a good way to do it.
There is a good way.
Go downstairs and talk. There's a good way. There's a right way. There's a wrong way.
There's a right way.
The way you're doing
I'm
right
still sitting in my seat.
The way you're doing right now is wrong.
No, I'm still sitting in my seat.
Right now,
I'm still sitting in my seat. The right way is for me to tell you what happened. And I'm not leaving with all 5 of my kids here. I'm not leaving.
they can go with you or you can go to
They're not
jail.
doing that. I'll go to jail. I'm a teacher. I'm going to jail. DJ Malice.
Dude, you're not going to do that. I promise.
I will do that. I'm trying to. I'm not going to jail. She tried to kidnap my kid. I understand what you're saying. She tried to kidnap my kid. You're not touching me. You're not touching me. Now you want some? Now you want some? Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. Pull the gun out. Pull the gun out. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. I'm not going to jail. You stop me from. Hit him.
I'm going to stop the video right there, and I'm going to go to the press conference part of the video, and we're going to hear a little bit about the incident from the, I guess this is the public information officer, and they're going to speak a little bit about what happened in that particular instance. That gives it a little bit more context.
To get treatment for his injuries. So it's important to note that we, for the sake of viewing audience at home, we had to censor some of the words that were said, but in case it wasn't clear, he repeatedly was using the N-word directed at the black officer. We want to highlight some points that have some points of emphasis in this video, things that you may have missed because of how dynamic and fast body-worn camera footage and events unfold. The first thing we're going to point out is before any use of force took place, when they made the initial contact with Brown, he made two specific threats to the officers.
Private property, what you mean? You got to leave. It's our property. Listen, remember I told you I'm either going to kill a cop or not leave. One or the other. Get up. Get up.
I'm not leaving with all five of my kids here. I'm not leaving.
You can go with you or you can go to
They're not
jail.
doing this. I'll go to jail. I'm beat your jail. DJ about this.
You're not going to do that.
I will do that.
So at this point, Walter Brown has just made statements indicating that he intends to use deadly force or great bodily harm against the officers simply because he's being ejected from the stadium. The officers were attempting to use the minimal amount of force necessary to remove Brown, and 3 times when they attempted to put their hands on him, he attempted to defeat their efforts to grab him, which we'll see in this next video.
Okay, you guys get the point. Now, like I stated, I'm going to use as much logic as possible when dissecting this video. On the one hand, did he deserve the beating that he got? Officers are held to a higher standard. The officers in question are supposed to have a certain amount of restraint, especially when dealing with what looks to be a drunk fan that's being irrational. According to the video, and also according to the statements from the public information officer, it looks as if they did try to peacefully resolve the situation. They did try to ask the gentleman to leave. I'm sure the gentleman is probably drunk and has been drinking and all that good stuff. But they did ask him, say, hey, whatever happened. They're asking you to leave. This is private property. If you don't leave, you're going to be hit with a trespassing charge and possibly go to jail. So, with that being said, in my opinion, all the gentleman had to do was get up and say, hey, I don't think this is right, but I'm going to leave. If he does that, none of the other things will transpire. Nothing else will happen. He gets up, he goes, he's a little bit pissed off that he has to leave the stadium with his 5 kids, whatever the case, but he has no jail record, no bodily harm. Everything is everything. But instead, this gentleman decides that he wants to be combative. He wants to threaten the officers, and he does not want to leave. Now, does that justify the assault from the officers? I would probably say not. Probably. But in the heat of the moment, when you do threaten the officer, when you do call the officer the N-word, when you refuse to leave, and also in the video, he attempts to grab the officer's gun. And I'm going to put a link to the whole video, so if you want to watch the whole thing, you can just go ahead and scroll through the whole thing. It's about an hour long. That's why I'm not going to just play it, because who wants to sit here and watch an hour-long video? But in this particular case, I believe, as much as I hate to admit it, this was justified. I'm sorry. This was justified. All they had to do was comply. Just like how when things happen, when the tables are turned, just like when there's a white officer and a black suspect involved, everybody would probably be like, oh, protest, police violence, blah, blah, blah. But in some cases, I can see that if the gentleman would have just complied, everything would have gone smoothly. So my logical mind in this case is thinking the same thing. If this gentleman would have complied, because the first officer that approached him was as nice as possible, he was trying to be as easygoing, as friendly as possible. He just asked the guy to leave. He just wanted the guy, he just said, hey, you're being asked to leave. I don't know about this kidnap my kids thing. Who's going to try to kidnap kids in a stadium? That doesn't even make any sense. But in most of these cases, the circumstances don't make sense. And even his wife, girlfriend, whoever it is behind him, was trying to get him to just say, hey, let's just get up and go and avoid all the situation. But the gentleman threatened the officer. He threatened to kill the officer. You can't do that. No matter how mad you are, no matter how upset you are, you cannot threaten to kill an officer. And if you do, you are automatically enrolled in the Gray Bar Motel. I would have to say, and this is strictly from a logical perspective, feelings not even involved, this guy, yeah, he deserved it, sorry. He was combative. He assaulted the officer. He told the officer, don't touch me, whatever. He should have just got up and left. I know people say that when the tables are turned and when things are reversed, and that is true. Sometimes when it happens to other races or whatever the case may be, yeah, if someone would have just complied, then everything would have gone smoothly. That's my take. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm going to bring you another video. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. I will respond and say, hey, I will look at your points and we can look at this objectively. And if I'm wrong, then hey, I happen to be wrong. But in this case, it doesn't seem that way. And even the officers in the press conference feels the same way. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you a forgotten fact right quick. Yes, I do have a forgotten fact for today. Today's forgotten fact has to do with the Georgia-Florida game and the history of their rivalry. Their rivalry started way back in 1915. That was the first Georgia-Florida game. Also, if you guys did not know, the Georgia Bulldogs has the largest victory over Florida in that rivalry as well. Way back in 1942, the Georgia Bulldogs beat the Florida Gators with a score of 75-0. That is a whooping. Maybe that's why they're still mad. Maybe that's why Florida has this rivalry with Georgia. Who knows? But it's all in fun. It's great college football. We love to watch it. Just kind of sad to see when different incidents like this happen. But hey, what do you expect when you got a bunch of drunk college football fans all together cheering on their team? Thank you for watching. Till next time, and I'll bring you another video.